Don't blink, it started with a dare. The kind that comes at the tail end of a drunken midnight conversation, where laughter turns nervous and shadows feel thicker. We should try the game, Nick had whispered, eyes glinting under the dim glow of the streetlight. You mean don't blink? Megan scoffed. That stupid internet challenge? But Emily, already halfway into her third drink, had shrugged. Why not? It's just a game, right? They picked the location carefully. An abandoned wing of St. Luke's Hospital, the children's psychiatric unit, sealed since 1998 after a fire claimed several young patients. Rumors said one boy had survived but was never found. Locals whispered he still lived there, not physically, but watching, always watching. Inside, the hallway smelled of wet plaster and mold, paint peeled in curled strips like old skin. At the end of the corridor, the pediatric ward's playroom door stood slightly ajar. Nick lit a candle and placed it in the center of the cracked linoleum floor. Okay, rules are simple, he said, pulling out his phone. You sit in a circle. You stare at each other without blinking for 3 minutes. If you blink, you lose. If you all blink, he comes. Who's he? Megan laughed nervously. Emily was already sitting cross-legged. Only one way to find out. They sat. The candle flickered. Shadows danced. 3 phones timed the session. One rule, don't blink. The first minute passed in silence. Then something moved. Not outside. Inside the room. It was subtle at first. A breeze that shouldn't exist in a sealed corridor. A whisper brushing the back of Megan's neck. Her eyes twitched. Nick grinned. You blinked. No, she stopped. Something behind Nick had shifted. A dark outline, almost invisible in the corner. She blinked. This time, the shadow was closer. Guys, Megan whispered, voice dry. Don't turn around. Nick frowned. What? Something's here. All 3 turned. There was nothing, only the walls, candlelight, and an old child's wheelchair in the corner. But the moment they looked back at each other, the wheelchair was now beside them. Nick cursed, getting to his feet. Okay, prank's over. I swear I didn't move that, Emily said, frozen. Her eyes were bloodshot already. Let's just go, Megan whispered, backing toward the door. It slammed shut. Hard. The candle flickered violently and extinguished. They were plunged into blackness. Emily screamed. Nick fumbled with his phone flashlight. It buzzed, refused to turn on. A static hiss filled the air. The darkness wasn't just empty, it was alive, breathing, watching. Light! Megan shrieked. Suddenly, Emily's phone lit up and caught the reflection of something standing behind Nick. It had no face, just eyes. Too many, and all of them open. Nick turned. The scream that tore out of him didn't sound human. He fell backward, convulsing, blood dripping from his eyes. Emily lunged for the door, but her hand passed through the knob as if it wasn't there. Megan grabbed Emily's face, forcing her to look. Don't blink. He moves when you blink. But Nick, Emily sobbed. He's already gone. The room was shifting now, warping. The floor curved. The walls stretched upward endlessly. The candle relit on its own. Nick's body was gone. Only his phone remained, still recording. And on the screen, the video showed them sitting in the circle with something behind them, watching, waiting. Megan blinked. The lights exploded. She woke in a hospital bed, eyes bandaged. She couldn't remember how she got there. A nurse stood nearby, her voice gentle, but distant. You're safe now, Megan. You're at St. Luke's. Megan tried to speak, but her throat was raw. The nurse leaned in. You were found in the old wing. You were screaming about eyes. Megan's heartbeat spiked. She tried to sit up. You shouldn't move. They had to suture your eyelids. You scratch them, try not to blink. Megan froze. Where's Emily? The nurse didn't answer. Megan felt cold. Where? Is she? The nurse tilted her head. She never made it out. And then something in her voice changed. You blinked, didn't you? Megan's breath stopped. The nurse smiled. Not kindly. Her face began to melt. No, not melt. Slide away, revealing hundreds of eyes underneath. All open, all watching. Megan screamed, but her eyes were sealed shut. Somewhere in a dark room, a phone continued to record. The screen showed Megan's face, twisted in terror. In the corner, the shadow moved closer, closer, until the screen cut to black, and a voice whispered, barely audible, "He only comes when you blink." The end, but he's still watching.